Hans Westman here. We are going to continue with learning Blender, different modeling techniques, while exploring the different tools which are available in Blender. So let's get to it again. This time we are going to create a table. Last time we did it by just using extrudes, but this time we are going to use other methods in order to get the job done. So as usual, let's begin with deleting the cube that has been auto-generated. X and delete. We'll start out first of all by going to Add, Mesh, and Circle. And if we now go to the menu, which is in the lower left-hand corner, you see there's different options to actually develop the shape of this circle, which is comprised of both vertices and edges. I'm going to change the vertices from 32 to 4, which will give us a diamond shape. From there, I will go to the rotate and the column to the right. On the z-axis, I will change the rotation degree to 45, which will give me a square shape. Now, what we're going to do here is create a frame on which a tabletop will be resting. So we can start out first of all by seeing what happens if in the object mode I try to scale this lengthwise. You can see that we're having some difficulty. It's only going uniformly in all directions, and that is not what we are looking for. However, if I go to the edit mode, that gives me the option of manipulating either the vertices by hitting 1 or the edges by hitting 2. 3, we have no polygons. So let's go ahead and hit 2 at this point and see what happens now when we scale. Just as an FYI, in the event that you were trying to do something and you're having some difficulty with that. Now, what we're going to do at this point is we're going to create another one of these shapes that we have here, and then we're going to fill in between those two in order to create the polygon outline of what will be the frame. And there's a couple things that we want to look at while we're doing that. So the first thing, which I thought was very interesting, is if we were to copy this while in the edit mode. Let's go ahead and do that now. And I'm going to do it from the X or right view and shift the letter D and hold down Control. You can see now I can snap this into place right about there. Click with the left mouse button, and with the middle mouse button you will see now that I have 1 and 2. I have these individual things that I can work with. But what's interesting is if I go to the edit mode, or to the object mode now, by hitting the tab key, you'll see that both of these are one in the same. Okay? So let's go back here one more time. I'm using Control Z to undo. This time let's go to the object mode, and again, X, Shift D as in duplicate, hold down Control, and then move this up just so slightly like this in one direction. And now, if you look at this, we have two different objects. Tab to go to the edit mode, and as you can see, I can only manipulate the one which is selected, which is not what we need to do. So what we're going to do now is go back to the object mode, click on the other one by holding Shift, right click on both of these, and we're going to join them. And now, if I click on the one, now I have both of these. Now, we're not going to go into what won't work depending on if these two objects are separate, because we're going to be moving from here to there and developing this a surface, which would be the polygons. So I go back to edit mode, and I can select all of these edges like this, right click, and go to bridge edge loops. And now we have polygons, which we can see here. Next up, what I want to do is go up to the View Shading menu, drop down here, and click on Backface Culling. So now you can see that the back side of this is not visible, whereas the side, which is the normal, is visible. And that's exactly where we want to be. Let's now select, again, all the edges. To do this in a easy way, what I can do is go to Z, select wireframe, and let's go ahead and do that one more time. There we go. 3 is what we need to be on, actually, in order to get access to the polygons, or the faces. There we go, one more time. Z once again, and we go to solid. And now what we're going to do is actually an extrude along the normals. So if I activate this, and I pull it like this in one direction, you can see that I'm turning the object inside out. Other direction, I am now creating a solid shape, which is the frame. All right, so here we go with that. And now we can manipulate this just ever so slightly by making this a little bit less deep. But before we do that, Control Z, let's manipulate the whole thing. We can, of course, also go to the object mode, which might be a little bit easier. We can just go ahead and bring this down like this. And back to the edit mode once again. And I think we're looking pretty good there. Now in edit mode, we're going to add a cube. But before we do that, the position of edit mode, as you can see, is under the face selection mode. So there we have a set of tools that we can work with while we're there. If I were to go to the object mode, you'll see that the add is actually on a different level right here. So let's go back to the edit mode. Once again, edit mode, and this time we'll select it again like this. Actually, let's go ahead and hit Z one more time. 3, For the faces, select them all. That's fine. I think that we would have to do it like this. And then we can go ahead and add a cube. So, Z, solid. And now what you can see here is that we have one object, which is the surface here. Let's go to edit mode, to object mode. So now if I click on this, now you can see that all of these are one and the same object, which is interesting to me. If they were separate, we could, yeah, we can go into that in the next thing that we're going to be doing here. So let's go ahead and go back into the edit mode once again. I already have all these polygons selected, so I'm just going to go ahead and work with that. And go to the X view. And let's go ahead and scale this into place. So we have it like that. About. And then I can do it like this. I can move this up just a tad. To the top layer, about like this. Now let's go to the Z view. And hit Z on the keyboard, wireframe, and then we can go ahead and expand this so that we have the same edge all the way around, just like that. I think that'll suffice. Maybe a little bit less there, maybe. Yeah, let's do it like that. And like this. Make it a little bit broader. Okay. Middle mouse button. And Z. Solid. So now you can see that we have, in the object mode, this is one and the same shape here. Okay. Next thing that we're going to do is go to the outliner, as it's called, right click, and we're going to create a new selection. So each one of these selections has a grouping of different assets which are in the scene. Right now we have the camera and the lights in one. And what we're going to do is we're going to move this circle down here to the new collection group. So that means that if we were to close all of these guys here, you can see that it's the lights and the camera which are being hidden or shown, and underneath here we have the tabletop and the frame, which are already joined. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and hide this, and we're going to click on selection, and from there we're going to go back and create once again this object, this new object, which is going to be another circle. And this has already been changed once, so we don't have to worry about that so much now. And you'll notice also that it is under the first collection set of assets. We'll change this again to 45. We can even do it over here, as you can see. So let's just go ahead and do it over here. 45, same number there, same number there. And we're going to do a little bit of additional construction here under the edit mode. So I hit tab. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually construct a table leg. So let's start out first of all by going to X, and then I'm going to hit Control Shift, D as in David for duplicate, and I'm going to move this up 1, and that's okay. So we're going to start out with that one, and let's do another one here. Once again, okay. So let's continue with what we are working with here. And we're going to stay in the edit mode. Now we have 2. We're going to do another duplication once again. So it will be Shift D as a duplicate, hold down Control so that we can move this down a little bit lower. Now we have 4. Let's do it again. And it would be Shift D, Control, bring this down just like that. Now we have 6, and let's do one more. Shift D, Control, and bring it down like this. Okay. So now, when I go and look at this, you can see that I have 2, 2, 2, 2. So a total of 8 altogether, and I want these all to be one and the same. So if I region select these, right-click, and click on Join, now these are all one and the same. You're going to see why we want to do this in just one second. So this is going to be the outline of what's going to be a table leg. And I'm going to start out by setting it up by coming up to the top, Edit Mode, and I am in 1 and 2. There is no faces, so I can't select a face that doesn't exist. So I'm going to be in the edges, number 2. I'm going to take this one, move it up just slightly like this. Then I'll take the next one, region select, move it up slightly like this. And I'm going to now go to the top view, which would be Z, and scale this down just a tad like this, in X and Y, just about like that. Okay. Next, I'm going to move these down so I have some room here. And now I can take this one, move it up about like this. And I'm going to go ahead and scale this one down also in the X and Y. Next, let's go ahead and do the same thing with this one. Bring it up. Actually, we wanted to do with the Move tool. And I'm going to get a little bit closer so I can see where I'm at here. And once again, I'm going to go to Scale, Edit Mode, X and Y, right about like this. And what I can actually do here is Shift D is a duplicate, and hold down Control, and bring this down bring it up first, and then we're going to go ahead and do this. The reason I'm doing this is that I want it to be exactly the same width as this one in depth. So let's go ahead and move this down a little bit, right about there. Shift middle mouse button to bring this up. I'm going to select these guys now, move it up right about there, and X and Y, I can bring this one up just a little bit, right there, just about like that. Okay, and then this one, like this. You can bring that up, shift, middle mouse button to bring it down, and let's go ahead and scale this in X and Y, about like that. And then I can bring this down. You'll see what this is going to look like in 1 second too. And this would be the last one, I guess, right here. So I'm going to bring this up, but I want this to be the same size as that so I can actually get rid of that one. And I'm going to delete the edges. And let's take these guys right here and Shift D, bring this down right about like that. Actually, bring it up real close, and I can go here. Bring it down just a little bit once again, and then move it up slightly like this. And then the last one is going to be Control D. Shift, and let's bring this down just a tad. I'm thinking, there we go. It should be all in alignment. So we're going to go ahead and bring this up now, about there. And let's go to the object mode now. And then we can go to the tilde, view selected. Now you can see that we have like all of these guys lined up in the way that we want them to be. I might bring these groupings right here, edit mesh, down just a little bit, okay? And now we're going to do some magic. So what I can do here is I can first of all select all of these guys, and let's see what happens now if I go ahead and right click and bridge edge loops. So now you can see that we have this table leg which we've created, and we're going to do one last thing here. We want to have a transition from this rectangular here to circular, and the way that we can do that is 2, which would be the edges. We can hold down Alt, and then we can do the same thing down here, and right click, subdivide, and I think that's okay now. So if we hit the number 1, you can see that we have these vertices which are there. Now before I do that, let's go back to Shift Z. But if you want to look at here, I have 1, 2, 3 vertices, as well as 1, 2, 3 up here as well. And that's not exactly what we want, because there is actually some hidden geometry under here, and we want to make sure that we can see also this additional edge, which would be created when we do the subdivision. So let's do it one more time. We'll go to Shift, Alt, excuse me, and then Alt Shift down here. We'll do the same thing once again. Right click. Let's take a look and see if we have the subdivision already. Looks like that subdivision was done, so we're going to go ahead and Control Z one more time. Control Z. There we go. Okay. Always good with a Control Z. And it should be the same up here too. Alt Shift. Yeah, now it looks okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to that one more time. Right click. Subdivide. Right here, see where it says Create N-Gon? We're going to take that off. And now we should be able to see this all the way down as well as here and here. And then let's go ahead and go to the next thing that we're going to be looking at. So what I want to do here is I'm going to Z, wireframe, 1, select these 4 vertices right there. And I should be able to do the same thing up here as well. So let's go to these, which would be here. Shift, 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 and Shift. And go to Z at the top. And let's take a look and see what happens if I do a uniform scale here with the median point, which is okay. Bring it down to a circle, just like this. And now Z, solid, you can see now we have the circular combined with this. Okay, now what we can also do here is if we go to Faces, which is 3, select all of these guys, but let's go back to the wireframe as we had done before. Select these all, and now Z solid, just like that. Right click, and the way that we want to look at this here is we want to make this shading smooth. So now when you look at it, you have like a smooth shading, and then we have a transition there as well too, which is hard. And yeah, that would be that. Next is this. We can get rid of this hole right here. You can see that we have like the back face culling here. And I can go ahead and go to 2, hold down Alt, and we can go and right click and fill. So now we have this filled. Same thing here at the bottom, Alt, right click, fill. Okay, you'll notice that we also have created a diagonal edge here, 2 triangles, or 2 tris is equal to 1 quad. We want to keep it with a quad, so we can click on that edge, right click, actually click on the edge, and then hit X, and this time we're going to dissolve the edge. So now we got rid of the edge, but we kept the face. Same thing here. X, dissolve the edge. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the tabletop. We can do that by showing now the circle. Okay? Got this table right here. What I can do now is go to the object mode. These are two separate things currently. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down and I'm going to scale it so that it will be in place where I can do that. Before I do that though, let's go ahead and maybe change the position of this. So if I go to the pivot point, we want to we'll do that at another time. It'll take too long to explain that. This video has been pretty long as it is right now. Let's go ahead and scale it. X and Z. Just about like that. I think that's fine. A little bit more maybe. About like this. And once again. And then maybe down like this. Then we can go ahead and bring this up here. I'm going to go ahead and go to Z, wireframe, and we're going to go to the top view. The one corner is there. Let's see what it looks like size-wise. This is still pretty thick, so let's go ahead and maybe change that a little bit there. I think that's a little bit better. And maybe bring that down just a tad like that. And then we can go to X, bring this up, and bring it in. And then we can go to the top, take a look at it, and see where we're at there. Okay, so let's go ahead and duplicate these guys now. We are in object mode, so why don't we just go ahead to edit to the tab key, or we can go to the drop down as well to edit mode. And this time, what we can do is just go ahead and select, we'll just go back to the object mode again. Shift D, hold down Control. We're going to bring this right over here. And now we can hold Shift, add this guy. Oops, Control Z. And we are going to now do the same thing again. Z, so it's pretty straight. Shift D. Let's bring these guys over here. I'm going to snap them like that. And yeah, about like that. So now, once again, we have another table Z with a solid. And what we want to do now is bring these table legs. First, we're going to combine them with this one. So we're going to select that. Let's bring these circles into collection 2. So now we have all of these together, which is what we want. And we're going to now combine those together with that. We'll just select them all at once. Right-click, join. So now we have one table leg, one table with the legs and everything. And obviously you can manipulate this and change this under the edit mode like this.